Hello again, Cooper and Michelle Green from Get Your Bearings Adventure Racing. We want to talk about the final section that we did in the Silver Lake Adventure Race, which was the Dunes section. If you were in the 5-hour race, I believe you had a couple less checkpoints than we had in the 8-hour race. We were hoping to clear them all, but ended up getting all but 3, and probably have a similar route to a lot of you. So let's talk about our strategy coming into this section. First of all, it was the last section at the end of the day. I think I barely made it up the hill to 35.
I think so.
That was brutal.
He was busy chit-chatting with some other racers
Oh,
in the TA, and I had to yell at him to get up the stairs.
Yeah, I'm sure some of you will remember that. So, okay, she finally got me out to 35, and our strategy, my initial strategy in thinking that we may be able to clear it, was to do kind of a loop. I wanted to come down to 33, head up to, excuse me, I think I was going to go to 31, then 32, and cross over to 26, come down, and then come across, and then head out. So that was the strategy. Well, we were being pressed for time, so our strategy became, let's start navigating and see how long it takes us to get to each point so we can judge our distance back out. And so we headed on in and hit 33, and I think it took about 10 minutes from the TA to get to 33. And I said, and it started looking like at that point we weren't going to get them all. So instead of going to 31 next, I said, let's go to 32 because I think 26 is going to be one of them that we may cut out. And that's what we did. It was pretty easy to see from 33 this little dune area, which I'll show you on the LiDAR. This shows as an elevated dune. And it was easy to pick out because A, it was elevated, but B, it was pretty obvious where the off-limits area, where the off-road vehicles were. So we headed straight for that area, went around the back side of it, and came up the middle right to 32. At 32, I think we were close to 15 minutes in at that point, and we said we're probably going to skip 26. Let's just head down to 31 and check our time there.
Actually, we didn't say probably. We saw 26 way in the distance.
Oh, you're right.
And I'm pretty sure I said something like, "Dear God, no way. We're never going to make it out there." So we opted to...
So instead of trying to cross through all this unknown thick stuff,
right,
we decided to follow the sand dune line right around to 31. Got there, and at that point we were at 20 minutes into our dune section. And I think we only had about 50 minutes total.
Yeah, we only had about 50.
Yeah, that we could spend in there. So that pretty much said we're going to cut out 26. We did say we were even debating whether or not to go out to the shoreline, and we decided to, and started heading out towards 27. The sand was difficult walking, as you all can attest to, and so we said let's try to cut through this forest, and that ended up being pretty nice. It was pretty flat, and the ground was a bit firmer. And when we came out the other side and up a little high point right here, we could see these 3 patches of trees, went right in and found 27. It's great. Now, once again, we're a little bit sweating our time, but we wanted to make a push because I was calculating in my head what other racers might get that might have done this a little bit differently. So we worked our way down the shore and saw 28, and what a vista and view of Lake Michigan that was. Wish we could have stayed there longer and enjoyed it. From 28, we made the decision there's no way we could get 29, probably couldn't even get 30, and we were even wondering if we could get 34. So we just started working our way back as fast as we could in more or less a due east direction, but I was heading a little southeast so that we could gauge our time again as we got to the edge of the dunes. And sure enough, we came up to the edge of the dunes, probably right about here. And to me, I felt we had enough time to kind of, we had no idea where 34 was at that point, but I headed us in the general direction toward it, and I said we're going to make one sweep in this direction, and hopefully we'll see it and be able to get it to come into the finish. And sure enough, it worked out that way. As we were coming around, we saw it and were able to tag it. And at that point, I figured we had enough time, but my legs were not moving through the sand very well at all. So Michelle had to tow me a bit. I don't know where she got her energy at the end of the race, but I really appreciate it. And
Well, I'll tell you where it comes from when you're racing the clock and a fear of a DNF because you didn't get back in time. You can get quite the adrenaline rush.
yeah,
I was just desperate to get back to the TA
so
with minutes.
so she had it, and it was a great relief to go downhill right here into the TA, and then off we were to the finish.
I do have to say just real quickly, Cooper was really smart about some of his subtle route choices through here. I was walking a little bit ahead of him and maybe would start to work my way down a hill, and he'd say, well, no, stay high and skirt that so that you don't have to go down and back up. And I think he did a great job maximizing the energy that we did have left and the leg power that we did have left, taking us through easier terrain instead of sand and those types of things. And I think that made a huge difference as well.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Congrats, teammate.
Congrats.